A year in review. Hi, everyone. Vicky Kelty here again with another episode of the Language Learning Report Card podcast. And if you're watching the video version, you might notice our special guest, Janice. We don't know if she'll stay the whole episode. Let's find out. What we're doing for this review, and you might notice me look over to the side if you're watching the video version. That's because I have some notes here, so I stay on track. My big tweakness. But something that this podcast has helped me with from time to time. And one of the things that I want to start with my year in review is to just be really grateful for having had this idea fall into my world and go with it, because this was a bit of a scary adventure, and I really uh, celebrate myself for doing it. And I am grateful for everybody who has listened to some or all of these episodes this past year to hear about my language learning with French and Spanish. And I have been really supported by these podcast episodes. They ended up being more motivating and helped me to be accountable for showing up with both French and Spanish. And I hadn't necessarily expected that, but I'm really happy that that was the outcome, that I got so much unintended support just from sharing what I was going through with my language learning. And it was nice to share some of the ups and downs as I was doing the self-study. In the beginning, it was only self-study that I was doing. And then as the year progressed, I decided to add some classes back into the mix with both French and Spanish. And that really was just the icing on the cake. It was perfect timing. It was exactly how it was meant to be. There are lots of different ways to study and to learn languages. And I hope that in these episodes, you have found some ideas for yourself. And if nothing else, just the motivation to continue doing it. I also found it really interesting because I was re-listening to the first episodes of the podcast, and it was really cool to hear how the podcast has evolved over this last year. And I had the intention of doing the podcast for a year. So I've achieved my goal, and I'm going to continue, and we'll see where it goes from here. But you may remember, if you were here in the beginning, that at the start, what I was doing was doing one episode related to French studying and one episode related to Spanish studying. And that has evolved to me sharing what are the different pieces of homework that I give to learners that I also use myself. So, like, what is happening behind the scenes, basically, in my English classes, so you can get a taste of what it's like to learn English with me and use that for your own English learning. And then I also share how I have used those pieces of homework myself. And I think that one of the things that I really like about sharing that and giving a personal evaluation, a grade actually, on those pieces of homework is that it's cool to see that for me, one of the pieces of homework might have been the A+ homework that I just couldn't get enough of, like the picture description homework that I mentioned in one episode. And then there'd be another homework that was like all English for a day, or for me, all Spanish or all French for a day. And that one got, spoiler alert, an F for both languages. And those pieces of homework could get a completely different grade from my students. Some students loved those homework ideas, and other students hated them for themselves. With the podcast, it's the same idea, that it's just about testing things out and trying new things and roll with the punches, see where things are going to go. And I'm excited to continue doing that as long as it feels good to do so. I hope you will continue to be with me for that journey. One of the things that I would love to see in the future of the podcast is guests. So I would love to find a way to bring guests into the mix. And I haven't decided exactly what that will look like, but it has been there in the back of my mind for a while now. And if that's something that you would like to either be, or you would like to see happen, then definitely send me an email at hola@vickykelsey.com and share that with me, because the wheels are turning, the ideas are spinning, and we'll see what happens. So that's it. That's my year with the Language Learning Report Card podcast review, and we'll see where it goes from here. I am just really grateful that this idea came to me and I went with it, because it made me more accountable with French and Spanish, which I needed a little more of accountability. And I am really happy that I have had a more consistent year of language learning that has had breaks in it that I feel like I wasn't as worried when I took breaks this year, because I was sharing all of these things with somebody, with you, and it made me feel like, okay, other people are hearing what I'm going through, and I am allowed to take a break. It's cool. It's fine. I'll come back to the learning when I'm ready. And I did. And in the episodes, just sharing everything that I've been doing with French and Spanish has also helped me to be supported by myself, be more motivated, and to keep showing up with the breaks and with the new ideas, and with teachers, without teachers, with self-study, with Duolingo, with everything. So I hope that you also find some of those elements are helpful to your English learning. And I actually have a guided practice related to this episode that I am going to share with you soon. So keep your ears ready for that episode. And looks like Janice did stay for the whole episode. Thanks for the support. And we will see you in the next, I don't know if she'll be here every episode. I cannot promise that for the video watchers of the episodes. But I at least will be here ready for the next episode. And I hope that you have a lovely day. Happy language learning, and get ready for some guided practice related to a year in review. That's all the hint I can give you. Bye for now.